Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Texas Road. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined daily by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Tell us where you're checking in from this morning. Get your questions in. Tell us what you're drinking as well. Also need to say Happy Veterans Day because today is Veterans Day. So I know we got a lot of veterans and even some people that are still serving that are always in the chat. So appreciate each and every one of you. But guys, let's talk about Sark meeting with the media yesterday. I got a clip I'm going to play y'all here in a minute, but do y'all have any main takeaways from it?
I think he gave the guys some rest last week and is trying to come up with a game plan for the Bulldogs, basically, is what it sounded like to me. Like they got back after it yesterday. I think the biggest news, though, we debated whether or not, Jerry, he would talk about injuries yesterday. He said Taft, McDonald, Filsaime all practiced yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they are heading to be available this weekend. Texas could be as healthy as it's been all season, theoretically, Jerry and Blake, this weekend. So I thought that was probably the biggest news in my opinion, although there were some nuanced discussions we could talk about a little bit later in this show.
Yeah, Michael Hovey. Wow, 42 in Sarasota. That's not a something you'll read very often in life. But yeah, no, I think he talked about the Georgia linebackers more than I did, which was interesting. I didn't think anybody could do that, but he did. Just obviously acknowledging how good they are, and talk. Look, it's all hands on deck this week. I mean, that's what for both programs, by the way. If anybody can give it a go this week, they're going in this game. I mean, that's what's built up. And we're going to be talking with Rusty Mansell from Dogs HQ here. It's a friend of Bobby and I's for years. So we'll get his take on it. But I'm guessing he'll say the exact same thing. It's all hands on deck for both of these teams this week. Stark mentioned it feels like a college football playoff game. And in a weird way, it very well could be. And for both these teams, it could end up being a play-in game depending on how things break, although I do think a 3-loss SEC team has a chance to get in. But it's all hands on deck, and here we go. And we're in Tuesday. And the other funny thing that came out of that, I thought, was before he plays Sark's quotes, but was he talked about that Starkville, that Kerbey texted him on the drive from Tupelo to Starkville, and how he talked about how in the SEC, some of these stadiums are longer bus rides, and it takes longer to get to. And I thought that was kind of funny that where Kerbey and him have gone with that.
Well, I want to go to the injuries for a moment that Bobby talked about at the beginning. He was asked about that. He normally doesn't elaborate too much during conferences about injuries, but he did talk about the health of the DB room and how last week was very important to get some much-needed rest. So here's that clip.
Well, let's start with getting 16 back, getting 4 back, okay? Getting 17 back healthy. I mean, those 3 guys are factors for us. And Grayson Littleton, having, that as a true freshman playing the amount of snaps he's playing, I think him having a bye week to kind of get his body refreshed is big for him. But all those guys that I touch on affect what we do on the perimeter, because that's everybody playing on the same accord. That's everybody, working together. That's the communication and the communicating with confidence. And so I do think Manny, Jalen, and Cade Phillips growing up, I do think their play is affected by what we do inside. When you have to try to protect things inside, that puts guys a little bit more on islands on the perimeter. But I think if we can play as one as a unit, we're pretty good back there. And so getting 16 and 4 and 17, healthy, the emergence of Jonah, I think, has been helpful for us as well. So very confident in that unit and looking forward to them play Saturday night.
Interesting there to me. Not only did you talk about, obviously, 16 being Michael Taft, 4 being Jelani McDonald, 17 Xavier Filsaime. When he started talking about defensive backs at corner, Jerry, Cade Phillips was the third name that came out, the young freshman after Jalen Gilbo and Manny Muhammad. That means that he is making a run right now. Obviously, Kobe Black and Warren Roberson also saw time against Vanderbilt as well. How about the comment about Grayson Littleton getting time to rest his body?
Yeah.
Young freshman came in and is basically played from day one at Texas, started against Ohio State, Interesting what they're thinking right now and how they're looking on that secondary, and that he's talking about the secondary so much when they're facing a passer in Gunnar Stockton that's completing right at 70% of his passes this year.
Well, the Grayson Littleton mention's very interesting because we just think, oh, well, he's a defensive back and he runs a lot and he's fine. He's used to that, but it's still a much more physical game and it's much more mentally taxing game for a freshman. And especially year one coming out of high school. And look, I went to watch him practice at Wiregrass Ranch last year when Texas offered him. And for a kid like that, you aren't challenged that much in high school. You play some receiver at corner, they run away from you. Maybe they punt the ball or kick the ball to you. Maybe they don't. The huddle highlight makes it look like they do all the time, but the reality is they don't. You're not really you're not tackling college level players having that physicality. So there is something that comes with that as far as, man, those guys need a little rest too to get their body feeling better because he's played a lot of snaps. And I'm guessing Grayson Littleton, even though you have goals, has played more snaps this year as a freshman than he probably thought he would. Even though he went in to go win a position and or his family maybe thought he would, right? Or his high school coaches thought he would. You can think a guy's a really talented player, but that guy has logged more snaps this year probably than anybody imagined he would, including Clemson staff, Michigan staff, and Texas staff.
Ready to go out of the gate.
Yep.
We talked about him all preseason that he would be, that we had heard he would be. And there he is. You know, frankly, really, really talented player. Really, really talented player. Congrats to him. And now we see if Texas can stand up to a Georgia offense, Jerry, that we've talked about this already, and we'll talk about it with Rusty Mansell here in a little bit of Dogs HQ, that is very efficient. I mean, look, this is how efficient is Georgia's offense? They overcame 5 consecutive touchdowns by Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about comebacks like Texas came back from 17 points in the fourth quarter against Mississippi State. That's really good stuff. Don't get me wrong. But having your defense give up 5 consecutive touchdowns and yet you still win the game, that's how efficient and against a good Ole Miss team, by the way, that's how efficient the Georgia offense has been at times this year. I still think that they may be I'm saying this and I'm not trying to just build them up. I think they may be playing the best brand of ball that will win big in in championship season come playoffs. I think that the type of ball they're playing right now, it beats every type of team potentially. So I think Texas is going to have a tall order for themselves this weekend.
Yeah, the question for me is, and we'll get Rusty's thoughts on this too, having watched every Georgia game, but can Texas replicate what Auburn did? See, Auburn the record is 4-6. They're 1-6 in SEC play, and they fired their golfer / coach. But their defensive front is really good. That is the only team that has really slowed down the Georgia run game this year. Really slowed it down. I mean, hey, Georgia rushed for 227 on 33 attempts against Bama. They rushed for 303 against Mississippi State last week. Florida was really good on run defense. They still rushed for about 140 in that game. They had 79 yards rushing against Auburn. Can Texas come close to replicating that? Because then, if you can, you put a little different pressure on that Georgia offense. I mean, Georgia rushed for 198 yards in Knoxville. I mean, they've put some rushing numbers on the board this year. Can this Texas defense replicate what Auburn did? And then different pressure on their pass protection and on Gunnar Stockton, because Auburn didn't have the offense to then put pressure on the game, especially with the refs. But we won't ask Rusty about that. But can Texas replicate what the Auburn defensive front 7 did against Georgia in the game? But to Bobby's point, they're playing their best football right now. I don't think there's any doubt. I think Georgia, if they don't play their best game of the season, it's going to be very close. I think the fans are going to be rowdy. It's red out. Texas has to go play their best game of the season. I don't think anybody would argue that. That's what this game is coming down to. And Texas has to play their most physical game of the season too.
Yeah, before we hear more from Kirby Smart, actually, Blake's got some audio set up for us. I want to say thank you to our sponsor each and every Tuesday, brought to you by our friend Rick Vavro and the guys at Texas Road, your full-service solution for major road projects in and around the state of Texas, with the full support of multiple crews performing utility, dirt work, concrete, and asphalt. Texas Road provides on-site concrete through volumetric trucks for smaller volumes. They're able to complete road building in a high-profile environment. Again, that's Rick and the guys at Texas Road. Again, Rick, multiple engineering degrees from the University of Texas. A good guy. Also owns Lone Star Bar out in Jonestown. Make sure you check it out. All beer there served at 27 degrees. If you're out in Jonestown, that may be the weather where Jerry's hanging out right now underneath that hat of his. So be careful. Texas Road, Rick Vavro and the guys, thank you so much for your sponsorship.
All right, yeah, I do have a clip of Kirby Smart. He had his press conference as well yesterday and was asked quite a bit about Arch Manning, and I want to play that for y'all right now.
Yeah, he's playing with more confidence. I think number one, he's getting better protection. He's seeing things well. He's making good decisions. He's getting the ball out of his hand quickly. I mean, he's maturing. You know, he's had an opportunity to play and grow, and you don't really get that until you get out there and play. He played a good bit last year, but the kind of games he's had to play in this year, just a different stature in terms of the SEC gauntlet. And just, you watch game by game. I watched yesterday each game throughout the year and watched him just grow and play better. He's extending plays. He's doing really well with scrambles, keeps his eyes downfield. He doesn't look at the rush. He's made some really impressive wow throws, and they're playing better offensively. Yeah, it really wasn't about the celebrity nature or the last name. It was about the tape. Have a good relationship with their family. I've known his dad for a while, his uncle for a long time, and his grandfather. They've got a wonderful family, but it has nothing to do with his recruitment. His recruitment was based on he's athletic, he's fast, he's tall, he's intelligent, he's got composure, he's got arm. I mean, he can do it all. He can run the ball, he can throw the ball. In this day and age, you got to have a quarterback that can do both. He can, and I think he's got great composure. He's not really affected by not many things. Even the way he's managed the hype and expectations of what he was supposed to be this year, none of that was. He didn't call any of that to come to him. It's just what the outside sources did, and it doesn't seem to have affected him. He knows he's got to grow and get better, and I think Sark's done a great job kind of bringing him up and allowing him to develop and get better. I don't really know about a pitch. I mean, it was relationships. I mean, right? I got to know him. Our staff got to know him. He came over here a lot. He was very honest and had his thoughts about both programs. He liked both programs. He had to pick one. I mean, there was no sales pitch in terms of that.
You know what was interesting that he said that is maybe most important of what he said is in today's day and age of college football, you have to have an athletic quarterback.
Yeah.
That, of all the nice things he said about Arch, and I don't think it was coach speak. I think he was just genuine with his takes. But that was interesting that he kind of pointed that out about Arch, because it's, if you look at Texas quarterback recruiting, I mean, that is where they're clearly headed post Arch. Diabell is a mover in and out of the pocket. KJ Lacey is a former point guard that plays the quarterback position like a former point guard, a playmaker in and out of the pocket. You look at who they offered in 27 and Akavian Bryan, even though he went to Tech, more of the same. So when we're looking at who Texas could potentially offer down the road at 27 at quarterback, I think it's important to keep all that in mind and kind of where the college game is headed, what these college coaches at the highest level are thinking about quarterback recruiting, especially in the SEC. I thought that was very interesting and a pretty good point without trying to make the point.
Hey, Blake and Jerry, second piece of that is look at Garrett Nussmeier right now.
Yep.
Look, he was 18 of 21 against Alabama.
Yep.
And they pulled him
yep.
in the second half because they felt like he was just getting cratered by pass rush, creating too many negative plays.
Yep.
And so if you think about that, that's exactly what happened in that game. I mean, they went to their backup, the transfer from Mississippi State, and he didn't do any better against Alabama. Don't get me wrong, but it's interesting that Kerbey called that piece of it out. We're going to talk a little bit more about what Kerbey had to say here in a minute. We got Rusty Mansell coming into us from Dogs HQ in a moment when he gets his microphone and video set up here. Jerry, you know, the other thing I would say about what he said there is something you and I have discussed before. All of this pressure on Arch Manning, we said it in while he's being recruited. His last name was a part of recruiting, but it wasn't why he was being recruited the way he was. And then two, once he got on campus at Texas, he didn't ask for all of that exposure and brouhaha and all the to-do. So he's just working his way through it. I think it's nice, personally, that an opposing coach sees that in one of your players. You agree?
Yeah, and by the way, there's a reason why Cooper and the Manning family handled his recruitment the way they did, because they knew what was coming. They knew what was really coming with all this. There's a reason that there weren't interviews being done, really, right? It was really difficult to actually get to people close to that and go to a practice, then to go cover the recruitment. They're showing up for visits, and nobody knew they were going to really be there until day of. They knew what was coming. The Cooper Manning and that family knew what was coming with all this. They knew Arch, fair or not, would be under more scrutiny than any college athlete we've ever seen because of where we're at. The name, yes, but where we're at with social media now versus when a Chris Sims came out versus, some of these other guys. So they knew what was in front of them. The Manning family handled it well, and I think Kerbey was right in the middle of that, and he spoke to it.
Yeah, the other piece, just to add to it, I think that how they handled his time on the bench, was also the right way to handle it. I mean, they didn't go out there trying to be front and center while Quinn Ewers was Quinn Ewers' team. They've done this the right way. Yeah. So none of that will matter, however, on Saturday. By the way, Georgia's not going to take it easy on Arch because of other things. Hey, before we get to Russ, he's having some problems connecting at his hotel Wi-Fi. Let's take some questions, if you would, Blake. As we get ready.
Let's do this one from Drew here. Super chat. Thank you, Drew. More likely, Georgia dominates with the run or Stockton in the air. Drew says, hopefully neither. Hook 'em.
I can tell you Georgia would rather run the football well, because, they flipped it. Last year they threw about 60% of the time and ran at 40. It was the opposite of what we've been accustomed to watching Kirby's best teams. This year they flipped it, and it's like 59-41-ish. You know what Georgia wants to do Saturday. They want to push Texas in the run game. They want to establish the run game. They want to run it better than they throw it. And if you're Texas, it absolutely has to be the opposite. If Georgia runs they're averaging 198 on the ground. If they get in the 150 range, that's probably not good news, because that means you're on your heels and you're having to bring an extra defender into the box, and that's not where you want to be against Georgia.
I'm betting they run for 100 to 150, Jerry, at least. Look, I don't think that – here's what I would say to you, Drew. Hopefully they don't dominate in either and just have mixed results or inconsistent results in both. So they can't sit there and say, okay, we're going to run it down their throat this drive, and they end up getting a field goal or a touchdown out of it. We can't say, oh, we're just going to drop back and pick them apart on this drive, or dink and dunk to Oscar Delp, right? Or one of their other tight ends. That's what I would say to you, Drew, is you got to make them – they're going to have success on offense. Let's put that out there. They are going to have success on offense. The question is how much success, to what level? And that's where I think that Texas, frankly, wants to find a way, Jerry and Blake, to level that off some, to not give them, touchdowns, to not give them a true sense of how they're going to go score if it's late in the game. Texas needs to make it questionable, needs to create question marks in their mind. Stop them in the run at times, stop them at the pass at times, make them second guess themselves a little bit. That's one of the things that Brian Irwin and Coach Shipley talked about yesterday on Lunch with the Coach. Make them second guess themselves, because they didn't. I tell you this much: I watched that Mississippi State game. They didn't second guess anything.
No,
they just kicked the ever living what out of Mississippi State. They said, "Here we come." And you're going to deal with it.
We got another super chat. This one from Rocky P. He says, Bachelorette Jerry, how does Bowen/Frazier compare to Ball? You also mentioned on Talking Ball about their big humans on the offensive line. Do you think that our D-line has the quickness to give them trouble? And then Rocky P with the 27-17 prediction with Texas winning.
Well, I think no slide on Bowen or Frazier. I mean, I think Jaden Ball's a better running back than those guys are. I think Jaden Ball, Bobby and I agree on this. He may be a 10-year pro type level running back. I mean, if you put him with Georgia's team, he'd be really scary. He's from the Atlanta area. I'm not saying he's going there. It's just kind of funny how recruiting works out. But I think he's a higher level running back. I saw Chauncey Bowens in high school. He went to Benjamin School there in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach Gardens area. I saw him in high school. Really kid. Again, falls in line with, I'm not sure I've ever seen a running back come out of Florida that wasn't a physical player. Now, some are healthy and some get hurt, but they're all physical players. But Jaden Ball is a higher level running back.
I'll tell you this. Chauncey Bowens is the one that I think it's a little bit of thunder and lightning. Bowens is the ped ball that bounces off of people and gets 8 yards of carry in tight quarters. Frazier's the one that can hit the home run on you a little bit, but Bowens has speed too. Bowens has speed. Tub in Texas says, reminds me of the hype leading up to the Bama game. Maybe. I don't know if we had all off season to get ready for this or
good
not.
Point.
But hey, Rusty, can you hear me in the background, buddy? Yep, bring him in. Let's go. Let's bring Rusty Mansell in here.
I know this is going to shock Jerry, but I'm in a bar in Nashville.
That is a real shocker right now.
I mean, I had to go downstairs to come to the bar to get a signal, but that's how much I love y'all, so I'm here.
Rusty, thank you so much. Rusty, long time guy covering the Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia grad, etc. Rusty, got to ask you this. Georgia looked pretty darn good to us the last several weeks. Mm-hmm. Is this a team that you think has a chance to win it all for Georgia this year?
I don't know that it's the most talented team under Kerbey. They just keep getting better, and you wonder where their ceiling is. I think Georgia, if they get in the playoffs, is one of those teams like, damn, I don't want to play them in a one-game setting. Do I think Georgia could reel off 4 like Ohio State last year? I don't know that they're wired like that. I just know that every single game it would be a pain to game plan because Gunnar Stockton has become different. You know, early in the year, you wanted to put it in his hands. Now you want to kind of take it out of his hands, and I think that's where Georgia has taken the next step. Their offensive line has been great. These 2 freshmen they're playing, these 2 true freshmen, they've changed things. Now they have a running game. So I don't know where the ceiling is, Bobby, but the team keeps getting better. And I think if they stay healthy, they would be damn dangerous in a one-game setting in the playoffs.
Hey, Rusty, I wanted to ask you, because one of the things we've talked about this week is last year didn't feel like Georgia football under Kerbey to me. They threw it 60% of the time and ran it 40%.
Yep.
You're as deep inside that program as anybody. Was there discussion saying, hey, that's not really what we built this thing on? We got to get back to playing Georgia football that we've all accustomed to watching under Kerbey?
They just didn't get better last year. You know what I mean? They kept having injuries. They would have a game. You know, they had a great game against Texas, obviously, in Austin, and then you go get your ass whipped by Ole Miss. I mean, you just flat out got whipped. And, you know, Georgia Tech was really 1 yard away from beating them. And no telling what happens in that game if they don't get that late turnover. It was creative, but, you know, you had to go the last play to do it. And, you know, they had a lot of injuries. I think they had a lot of upperclassmen. Nothing against all those kids, but a lot of those guys are starting in NFL right now, and they probably looked at that 4 years of Kirby Smart on Bloody Tuesday and go, damn, I got to have some walkthroughs in the NFL. You know what I mean? And I get it, man. But You got a lot of young kids, a lot of guys, a lot of energy, a lot of guys getting their first chance to start. And I think it really starts with Gunnar Stockton, man. I think his energy in the building, this is the true Georgia kid. I mean, his sister's named Georgia. He grew up in Georgia. He's known Mike Bobo's family since he was 5 years old. I mean, you can't write a better script. I don't know how the thing's going to end, but he's just that kid. And right now they're playing very well.
They are playing well. I watched them against Mississippi State, and it was total domination from beginning to end. Tell us a little bit about the run game, because that's been a problem for just about everybody in the SEC. You think it'll be a problem for Texas this weekend?
Well, I tell you, Georgia's offensive line is really running the football. And I'll say this, for all the people kind of outside the circle, and I know Jerry knows him well too and kind of what he brings, Mike Bobo is going to run the football. They're going to stick to the game plan. They're going to run the football. And it's kind of rare these days, you know what I mean? Hell, I'm a Falcons fan. If they don't get 3 yards of Bijan, next thing you know, we're throwing it 80 times a game, which I don't understand. We got an unbelievable running back. Let's let him loose, But Georgia will stick with the run game. And I think that's one thing you have to stop, and you have to be consistent. Chauncey Bowens, really and truthfully, was it kind of, they flipped him from Florida, and he kind of didn't have a great year last year, kind of a little bit heavy. Comes on in the offseason, and really and truthfully, like the last week of spring practice, he has a great spring game. He used that momentum. And, you look at Nate Frazier, he's had some fumble issues over the last year and a half. He had some early in the year, and they basically benched him. But when Chauncey Bowens turned it on, Nate Frazier's turned it on. He looks like a different back. He had a great game Saturday. He looks like that 5-star people thought he was out of California. So Georgia has to have the run game. They're going to be very balanced. They're not going to do that. And I'm telling you, man, their offensive line right now is moving people. And if I'm facing Georgia, I don't care what else is going on, Zachariah Branch, I don't care about the tight ends. We have got to stop the run game or we're in trouble.
Yeah, Rusty, obviously, Texas will get their safeties back. Ryan, you go expected to play. What about from the Georgia side? Jordan Hall's out for the season, obviously. That's kind of a key loss. He finally overcame injuries, became a starter. Anybody else on the injury front for Georgia to watch? I mean, Lawson Lucky, I don't know if he remembers what day it is.
I think, he took a shot, man. He was so knocked out, he was trying to come back in the damn game. You know what I mean? I think Lawson Lucky, I think he's going to be fine. DeMello Jones is the one kind of, if you don't know a ton about Georgia, they inserted him over some guys, and they took Ellis Robinson early in the year and just said, look, we got to learn with this young guy. We're going to take our lumps, replace Daniel Harris after the Tennessee game, been different there. But DeMello Jones is the guy that I think is different now. He didn't play last week because he had an elbow injury against Florida. I think he's going to be back, but when he's in, that's a 6'2" kid. And when you play somebody like Texas with all these athletes, the matchups are so critical. So it's basketball, man. Jerry knows that part of it. Sometimes it's 3-on-3. Can your guys cover these guys? And that's what it's going to be about. So Georgia's better if DeMello Jones plays. That's going to be a big question to me. Losing Jordan Hall really hurt, man. He's not their best defensive lineman. He was probably number 2 or number 3. But he did what Georgia asked him to do. He was a space eater. He was a 2-gap kid. And he was really coming on, man. He has really faced a lot of injuries in his career at Georgia. It's unfortunate. He's a kid from Jacksonville. He gets hurt in Jacksonville. You hate to see it, but they got to have some of those young guys step up. Elijah Griffin's a kid that was number 1 rated defensive lineman in America last year at Savannah Christian. I think he had the second most snaps last week against Mississippi State. I don't see that going down any at all. Nnamdi Aboko is a kid. Jerry's familiar with him out of North Carolina. He's a big 335-pound space eater. He's got to play now, and that's how it is. It's big boy world now. Nobody's crying because you lose a player, but it certainly hurts them a little bit having Jordan Hall out.
I wanted to flip back and ask you this. Is this defense for Georgia a little bit different than some defenses Kirby has had?
Yeah.
We talked about that. They only had 8 sacks going into the game against Mississippi State, had a pair against the Bulldogs. What are your thoughts about the strengths and weaknesses of this Georgia defense?
Don't have that Jalen Walker. Don't have that Michael Williams. And they don't. And I try to tell people in the offseason, don't be pissed off because, they're highly recruited guys. But, you go through a run of the Nolan Smiths and you go through the, Zizo Jalaris and you go through the Trayvon Walkers and all that. Eventually, you're going to hit a little bit of a pocket, and they did. I think Chris Cole is a kid they're trying to use off the edge. Interesting, though, Zayden Walker, who was the #1 rated linebacker in America last year, kid out of Sly County, Georgia, he got inserted into the game last week. They've been playing him a little bit. I think he's a guy because Georgia historically has used their linebackers, used to use Smile Munden, N'Kobe Dean, and all those guys on those cross dog blitzes. I think that's where Georgia is going to try to create more pressure there. Manufacture pressure because they're not winning a ton of one-on-ones on the edge. They're just not. They're having to do things like that. They got some young guys that are fighting through there and got some guys that are highly recruited, but right now they don't have a Jalen Walker and they don't have a Michael Williams. They're just having to play their tail off and get what they can.
Hey, so for all the Texas fans that are going to make their trip out to Georgia for the first time this year, it's a big red out night game at Georgia, man. I mean, this is their if we're right,
Jerry's going to be wearing his hat there.
He's already ready. I mean,
Rusty, you need one of these, man, for your show.
I'm a pretty good expert. I'm pretty sure Jerry's on the damn naughty list already, so he's trying to get back off. But it's interesting. They called a red out, and I thought, well, all home games are red outs. You know what I mean? Like everybody, but it is what it is. It's a night game in Athens. I think it's been highly anticipated just because you got two big boy brands. You got Texas when they come to town, and you look at this game, and it's going to be a big boy game. And I know a lot of Texas fans. I remember going this summer to a couple of the sponsors, and there were some Texas businessmen in town, and they were trying to rent a bar. I don't know if they were successful, but they were there and they had some Texas money with them, and they were trying to rent a bar for Friday night for all the people. So maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I anticipate a lot of Texas fans in town. A lot of them, I think, are staying down at Lake Oconee, down at the lake. Sounds like they got a big thing there Friday night. So anticipate a lot, just like Georgia going to Austin last year. They ain't no Formula One race here now. We just don't have the hotel rooms that Austin has, but it'll be all about this game. And I'm talking to people. I talked to somebody this morning that said they were supposed to come in town Friday from Chicago. They're coming in town Wednesday now because they're scared to death on flights.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Rusty, before we let you go, okay? I don't want to necessarily a score prediction from you.
Yep.
But what do you think this game looks like in your mind's eye? Like, if you're saying, is it going to be 27-21? Is it going to be 30-10? I mean, you followed Georgia pretty close. I know you followed Texas because you're SEC guy.
Yep.
What is your kind of mind's eye telling you right now about this game?
So I do a prediction in August 1st every year. I do a prediction. I have to do scores and all that. I don't know why I committed myself to that, but people hold me to it. I went back and looked. I think the prediction I put in on August 1st was 41-38. I think Georgia winning this game.
Wow.
If I look at this game now, a few months later, sample size, all that, I really think this is going to be a 27-24 type game. I just think it's going to be fight, scratch, yards. Nobody wants to turn the ball over. Run game. Who's going to get that creative turnover there type thing? And, all the stuff on Arch. And, I said some things in SEC Media Days that got taken out of context, from some people. Look, I've seen Arch throw. I know what this guy's got. I know the skill set. I know how bad Kirby Smart tried to recruit this guy. I mean, it crushed him when he called and said, I'm not coming. But as part of it, I knew he was going to get better. I knew Sark's a hell of an offensive coach. I just knew he hadn't seen stuff like this. I mean, this dude's first start ever was at Ohio State. I mean, that's a hard road to go. And you go through all these SEC games, and I do think Saturday night's going to be a new experience for him. He's played in some big boy games, but this place is going to be unhinged Saturday night, probably like he hasn't seen in a night setting yet. How he handles that, what he does there. But, he's gotten better, man. I know this kid's ultra talented. I know he's wired right way. And you see it the last couple of games like, oh, boy, here he comes. And he's just right for a freaking bye week coming into Georgia. So the football gods are making sure this game's going to have all the eyes on it.
Well, it's interesting because you've got the X factor you mentioned in Gunnar Stockton.
Yep.
And he's turned into a guy that maybe at the start of the season we didn't think we would see. I was talking about him. It's possible Gunnar Stockton's the SEC first team all quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, 70%, and he went into this year as the unknown, unthought about guy, and all he's done is complete 70% of his passes. He's going to be tough for Texas to stop as well as
he hurts you with the sneaky runs. I don't like somebody. I think they were saying this weekend he's sneaky athletic. He's not sneaky athletic. He hurts you with the sneaky runs, those 6-7 yarders. He's not going to chunk you for 20. You're 2nd and 8 and you're covering right and everything's there. all of a sudden you bust, and then it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. That's where he gets you, and he doesn't create a lot of negative plays. I've just really seen a lot of growth. There were times, man, about week 3 or 4, I was like, oh boy, he's not seeing it. The kind of knock on Justin Fields all the way through the thing was it had to be wide open before he turned it loose. And I kind of felt that way with Gunner. I was like, man, he's not anticipating, but man, he flipped the switch, and especially the Ole Miss game. The game he played, I think he's been different. Had a couple balls he missed against Mississippi State. He's going to miss a couple. He's just, that's the way he is. But man, he has gotten so much better in the middle of the field, using the tight ends. But what they do with him in the run game is what would stress me defensively, because now he's starting to that RPO keep. That's where he's made Georgia different, and he's tough, man. People look at him. I ran into him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, Gunner, why do people think you're down 5'10"? I'm 6'1.5", 6'2". We're eye to eye. He's so thick, lower body, he looks squatty. You know what I mean? He's built like that, so everybody thinks he's short. He's really not short. He's a 6'1", 6'2" kid. He's really thick in the lower body. Sometimes they've had to slow him down on running. Like, Gunner, you can't take these shots. Obviously, last year the juices were flowing against Texas. And takes a shot in that game. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you talking about night, my goodness. And look, and I'll say this too: if Carson Beck doesn't get hurt, I don't know that Georgia wins that game because of the energy and the different sample size. You can say what you want, but Texas didn't have any tape on him like that. All of a sudden, you're facing this a totally different game plan. You get a half of that, and things kind of rolled into a hell of a physical football game. But I think Gunner's really progressing. You want to see him stack games. Bobby, you asked me about Georgia's ceiling. If Georgia can get to that last game in January, it's going to be because of him. And can he stack games, and can he become problems? He's had two of the last 3 games to me against Ole Miss and Mississippi State that were really damn good.
I agree.
Hey, Rusty, I got one last question for you to leave on. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
All right. For the for Texas fans that don't know, Rusty went to college the same time that Kerbey, Bobo, and Muschamp did. Who was the most wild of the 3 in college? Remember, Will Muschamp's a popular guy in Texas world now.
Oh boy. I went to a rival high school with Will. And I don't want to say this publicly, but before Will broke his leg, he was an unbelievable athlete. I mean, you talking about a damn running back, baseball player, basketball player. It pains me to say this. Kerbey called him one time and told him how much I beat him in high school, and Will Muschamp left me a voicemail. I about cried for 2 hours. The amount of cussing he did on my thing.
Been there.
Well, I tell you, way back in the day, Jerry, you probably would have went out with Bobo on a Friday night. I think you probably would have enjoyed that. Let's just put it that way.
There you go.
Rusty, Dogs HQ, thank you so much, bud.
Appreciate it, guys.
Are you in Nashville to see?
I'm in Nashville right here at the beautiful Omni Hotel. Got a couple of meetings this morning. Going to see Jared Curtis practice this afternoon, hit some schools, and try to get in out of the home office and try to get me a free lunch on Bobby Burton somewhere.
I'll see you later, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Rusty.
Welcome. Take care. Rusty, Jared Curtis, #1 quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
By the way, committed to Georgia currently. The Bulldogs not looking to slow down any at all under Kirby Smart over the next few years. Good-looking team this year, and I think they're going to be a good-looking team for a while as long as Kirby Smart's there.
All right, guys, before we move on, I need to tell everyone this morning about Prize Picks, because we make decisions daily, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And with football now here, it's time for you to make the money. Prize Picks is simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You get them right, you cash in. It's the best way to get in on the sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and right here in Texas. And this week, I have Louisville quarterback Miller Moss having more than 224.5 passing yards. Central Michigan wide receiver Tyson Davis to have more than 14.5 receiving yards. And NIU running back Telly Johnson to have at least 1 touchdown. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And something else that's good, Jerry, is Ridge Wallet.
Say hello to the Ridge 2.0, the most refined version of the Ridge wallet. Ridge has been perfecting the wallet for 12 years. Everything is better on the Ridge 2.0. It's 10% lighter. Every gram matters in the Ridge wallet 2.0. They found the perfect balance. They made it a more modular with improved cash straps, money clips, and AirTag attachments. Ridge wallets are made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Holds up to 12 cards plus cash. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with the Ridge Tracker card, you will always know where it is before panic mode kicks in. That's part of the Ridge 2.0. Perfect peace of mind for holiday travel and gifting. Give the gifts that stay out of the junk drawer and find their way into morning routines, travels, and adventures. For a limited time, Ridge is having their huge Black Friday sale. Head to ridge.com to get up to 47% off your order. This is by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com for up to 40% off your order during the biggest sale of the year. After your purchase, ask where you heard about them. Of course, you're going to say OTF, home of 200,000 plus subscribers and growing.
That's a nice looking wallet there.
It is a good one. I need that one. I do. All right, Bobby, tell us about Tecovas as well, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. You all know that. To find your perfect pair with Tecovas. Tecovas crafts quality Western boots for everyone, from generational ranchers and lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers. Tecovas boots are handcrafted with more than 200 meticulous steps for broken-in comfort right out of the box. And their in-store experience is unparalleled with expert staff and complimentary beverages and customizations. Check local listings for a store near you, including one in Austin. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Texas football when you sign up for emails and text alerts. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/Texas football. Get with Texas Best in the West guarantee. You get free returns and exchanges for 30 days. Tecovas.com/Texas football. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west. Enjoy those, man. They do come in. They come broken in right out of the box, because I'm not a guy that wears boots a lot. And so by the time I wear a pair of boots in, it might be 3 years. I need the ones that are going to be ready for me right away. So good stuff.
Well, we got more super chats this morning, and I actually want to use this one to get into a little bit of recruiting as well. I'm going to start with Bald Father Bet. Says, Jerry, anything on the decommits? I've been out.
Yeah, well, Dylan Berryman, I've been reporting that was really going to come down to if Texas wanted to keep him in the class. And that doesn't mean he's not a good over-the-ball player. But I think that was really a Texas decision with Dylan Berryman. I think an over-the-ball player they will go to in the portal for that, with the losses of Cole Brevard and Travis Shaw. So I think that's the direction they decide to go with the all over the ball player. I think a fourth high school defensive lineman will be a longer, taller, lengthier athlete at that position, I think is what they're kind of looking for that fourth high school defensive lineman, unless Richard Anderson said, I'm done with LSU and I want to go to Texas, which I'm not saying is happening. It takes everything off the table. And heck, if Texas had 4 committed, they'd still take that guy. Anybody would. He is a beast. He's different. So I do want to differentiate him from the conversation with some of the other guys, because he's that level of different for me. As far as Taven Epps, the 2027 linebacker, shortly after he committed to Texas, he started taking visits, though. I mean, he'd been to multiple schools over multiple months. I mean, that's why some of these early 27 commitments, you can label them as commitments. That was never a commitment for me, really, because he'd just taken so many visits right after committing to Texas. That recruiting process didn't really even slow down, let alone stop that early.
And he's 27.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, this is a perfect segue to talk about recruiting. You were out and about without the red hat yesterday.
How do you know that?
Take those to high school.
How do you know that, Bobby?
Hey, you went and saw one of the Longhorns' latest offers, Josiah Vilmemell, defensive back out of Fort Bend, Travis. Longhorns looking to get a visit from him. Did you talk to Vilmemell, and what did he have to say?
Yeah, so we have a little video here, but it was an install day, their first round playoff game. They're playing Pearland Friday night, and I may actually go to that game. That's over at the Rig in Pearland, which is a cool stadium for those that have never been over there. But Josiah Vilmemell, by the way, his little brother, Josh Vilmemell, 6'3", starts next to him. Josiah, who's a 2027, by the way. Josiah Vilmemell is about 6 foot, 175, closing on 180. Good length to him. Plays more of a safety for Travis because their other safety's going to Northwestern's a really good player too. He missed majority of his junior season. And I was at the Randall Travis game last year, and he was not playing. So I never saw him play as a junior. He was out with a shoulder injury. And Coach Sissom, the longtime head coach there, said that's really what happened in his recruiting. Even Oklahoma State took him more based on what he was telling them about Vilmemell, plus the track times, which were in the low 10.6s last year in the 100 meters. So people pretty much took flyer on him because he didn't have the junior tape. But he is a fast athlete. He is the rare senior riser nowadays that didn't play much as a junior due to injury. Super intelligent kid. Since he backed off the Oklahoma State commitment when Gundy was fired, he's been to Arizona, Baylor, Arizona State. He's got Houston tentatively on the 22nd. He's got Kansas on the 29th. I'll be surprised if he's not in Austin on the 22nd, but we'll see. Maybe Texas pushes that back a week after the A&M game on that weekend. We'll see. But I think the November 22nd, 23rd weekend is Texas' big weekend. And I'll be a little surprised if Vilmemell is not on campus that weekend right now. But we'll see when that visit date's actually locked in, which weekend it'll be. He's supposed to talk to Mark Orfe later this week and kind of get that thing locked in as far as a visit goes. But look, not many guys that are 6'1", 6'1", 175, 180 that run in the 10.6 range. And how fast can he be as a senior? We probably won't know because he can graduate early if he wants to. That's the problem with some of these track times with these kids is not many kids are running senior year track anymore. But he's a talented prospect, and his little brother's a little different than he is. And Texas does know about him. Oklahoma State, Arizona State, a few others have offered Josh Vilmemell. He's 6'3", 175, taller kid, long kid, a kid that Texas is evaluating as well.
Well, we have another super chat. We're going to switch gears back to Georgia for a moment. Jeff Carey here. Jeff says, I think this game will be the second highest viewed game of the year. He says that he's going with 13.7 million people.
If not more. I totally agree. Goes up against Ohio State in a night game, but Texas, Georgia, with where SEC TV ratings have been this year, I can absolutely see it. Night game, Georgia, build up, Arch Manning. Yeah, it feels like 13.5, 14 million. You're muted, Bobby.
Jerry, when you first mentioned Gunnar Stockton as a proxy for Colt McCoy, I kind of said, I don't see that. But you know what? The more I think about it, he may very well be, because that's what he's growing into. Like Colt McCoy was good out of the gate. He was okay, but he threw some interceptions. He didn't really become Colt McCoy until later in his career, right? Junior, senior years. And maybe that's what we're seeing out of Stockton right now. He said, I beg to differ about the Gunnar Stockton, Antoine does, about the Gunnar Stockton McElroy comp. Let's see if he can lead Georgia to a natty like McElroy, 27-3 as a starter. McElroy's issue is that I think that McElroy's not as athletic as Gunnar Stockton. And let's see where all that goes. And look, you can say what you want. Nick Saban had an unbelievable roster at that point in time in his life too. He was in the backfield, I think, with 2 Heisman Trophy winners. So I would just say this. I think that what Rusty was talking about that Texas needs to be aware of is that Stockton is starting to stack some games. The Ole Miss game, the Mississippi State game, I mean, he's saying he missed a couple throws. I don't know. Daniel Honorado, Stockton's more Stetson Bennett than Greg McElroy. He's better than Stetson Bennett. I'll tell you that much right now. And Stetson won 2 national championships.
Yeah, and for the people that didn't hear why I said that, they're Colt and him are different players, different offenses, different time. But where I thought they were similar is Gunnar Stockton grew up Georgia. My sister's name Georgia. Rusty went through the whole thing. Wearing that jersey and being the leader of that program, I think has just dream come true type of meaning. Remember Colt McCoy's story about he passed up the region in the 10 hurdles, which he qualified for, to go to Texas to take the chance on being offered. So I think where the similarities are. Some of these guys are different players, but I think where they're similar is how much it means to play with that jersey on, especially in an era in the NIL era for a Gunnar Stockton where you don't get that as much. I mean, that's the thing to me is I think Gunnar Stockton, those wins and losses mean so much to him wearing that jersey, kind of like it did Colt. Those guys become real leaders for a program if they have enough players around them. And Georgia definitely does. And Texas did with Colt.
And this isn't to minimize, by the way, I'm not saying all this to minimize Arch Manning's own trajectory or growth at Texas, because I think his growth has been somewhat similar, actually. Except it started off as maybe further down the list because he played Ohio State out of the gate, and got beat up a little bit. I'm interested to see the quarterback battle because the one thing I would say, and I wrote this on Texas Football this morning, Jerry, I feel like for the first time all season, Arch is developing a rhythm, not just with his offensive line, but with his receivers. And not just one receiver. It's no longer just having a real camaraderie with Parker Livingston. He feels like he's got one more with Emmett Mosley, with Ryan Wingo, with Jack Indries even on checkdowns. So the quarterback battle could be pretty damn good this weekend. Could be.
Somebody asked, and this is actually an interesting question. Where was this? I wanted to see this. Where was this question? Somebody brought up, I don't know if you can find it. Somebody said, what's happened to Ryan Williams? Okay, Joshua Rainey. This was interesting to me. What's happened to hadn't heard anything about Ryan Williams. He was all over the news last year. One of the things with him that I think is interesting is last year, look, it was square peg round hole with Kalen DeBoer's system and Jalen Milroe as the quarterback. We talked about going into last year. Jalen Milroe didn't really have that ability in that offense. He wasn't a spread the ball around type of quarterback. I mean, Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard combined for 98 receptions last year. It was 2 guys that pretty much got the bulk of all the action. This year, Alabama, I think what's Ty Simpson is a better fit offensively for them. A lot of people just say, oh, it's just Ryan Grubb. I think that's part of it, but I kind of disagree. I think it's also how quarterbacks fit in the systems. Alabama has their top leading receivers. They are 4 guys. I mean, they're spreading. Then tight end Josh Cuevas has 24 as well. So Ryan Williams statistically isn't having as big a season. He has 36 receptions for 528. Nothing to sneeze at, by the way. But they have their ability to spread the ball around in the passing game, I think, is a big difference for them this year as a team. Just something to watch down the line.
Oh, their best receiver is the Jeremy Bernard kid.
Yeah. Who's been in that system for 4 years now.
Yeah, because he came over from Washington.
Yeah.
But he's a first-round pick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there are some that think that there are those in the Alabama insider circle that think maybe Ryan Williams didn't work as hard maybe necessarily as he needed to this offseason. He got the big eyes. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to put that on a young man. But there are certainly those detractors that feel that way, whereas Bernard and some other guys went to work.
Yeah.
And have proven very valuable to Ty Simpson in them.
Yeah.
Well, we got more to talk about, more questions to get to. But first, Jerry, I need you to tell everyone this morning about Culligan.
Oh, well, I can definitely do that. This water system is very, very important. Whenever you look at that glass of water and you look at what's in the bottom of that glass of water from the tap, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I've looked at that in the past, I said, what have I been putting in my body? You know, when it comes to the water your family drinks and uses every day, you don't want to cut corners. That's why for over 90 years, people have trusted Culligan. And here in Austin, Culligan Ultrapure has been serving the community for more than 60 years. Culligan Ultrapure provides high-quality residential water treatment at an affordable price, including reverse osmosis systems, water softeners, and UV purification lights. Whether your water comes from a well or municipal source, Culligan has the perfect treatment solution for your home. And right now, you can schedule a free water test and save up to $600 when you mention On Texas Football. Culligan Ultrapure proudly serves Austin, Corpus Christi, Victoria, Brownwood, Pampa, and Plainview. So don't wait. Call Culligan Ultrapure today at 512-339-2378. Ask for Michael, big Texas Longhorns fan. You probably run into him on DKR if you're there to schedule your free water analysis. Again, that's 512-339-2378. Better water starts with Culligan. And don't you want a fellow Texas fan? That's who you want to trust with your water.
And Bobby, if you can tell us about a couple more, starting with Kirby Lane.
Yeah, I can. Well, actually, I can do that if you would like me to, Blake. Kerbey Lane is easily one of my favorite places in Austin. I go there each and every time I'm there. My wife and I went just this last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. Kerbey Lane All Day Cafe is serving up chef-driven, scratch-made recipes and the local Austin vibe we all love. And now dinner's better than ever. We're talking chef-driven entrees, seasonal specials, and craft cocktails designed to elevate your night out. Whether it's date night, family night, or just catching up with friends, Kerbey Lane keeps it local with scratch-made dishes and the unmistakable taste of Austin. Dinner done right from a family-owned Austin original since 1980. Explore the menu today at KirbyLaneCafe.com. That's KirbyLaneCafe.com. Get the queso. Just telling you now. Thank me later. Also need to tell folks about Hollow. These are new socks that I've been wearing the last couple of weeks. Lightweight, supportive, and unbelievably soft. They have crew. They have regular socks, and they have boot socks as well. They're 3 times warmer than wool and still lightweight. Why are they still lightweight and warmer than wool? They're alpaca socks built for the field. These are performance-grade socks made from ultra-soft baby alpaca fibers, engineered for rugged conditions and designed to keep your feet dry, warm, and comfortable no matter where your day takes you. Hollow doesn't just make socks for the outdoors. They've engineered them for every activity, from everyday socks, compression socks, hunt stock socks, designed to keep your legs and feet fresh after cold mornings and long sits in the field. For a limited time, Hollow Socks is having a buy 3, get 3 free sale. Head to hollowsocks.com to check it out. That's hollowsocks.com for up to 50% off your order. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. You can show our support to our show and tell them that we sent you here at On Texas Football. Again, hollowsocks.com. Check it out today. 50% off, buy 3, get 3 free sale.
All right, we got more super chats. This one here from Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. He says, with the defense playing as many snaps as they have this year, was 1 week enough to get their sea legs back under them for the final stretch?
That's a fair question.
Fair question. And, this guy hasn't shown up on the injury report, but, Murad Watson's been dinged this year. Getting him back to close to 100% for this game, I think, is important. Your defensive lineman being 100% or close to 100% as they can be to play the run on the interior against Georgia and the edges are going to be so important. Now, linebackers have to have Leon Galafau and Tyantha Smith have to have really good games, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, I think it helps Texas for sure. The off week came at the perfect time for Texas, but I think we talked about the health of the guys who missed games, but how about the health of guys, Bobby, whose snaps have been limited due to some nagging injuries. They need these guys to play the run this week in Athens, in my opinion. They need to be close to 100% because Murad Watson's really good at it.
Boy, I mean, I think we'll see the most snaps we've seen all year from Travis Shaw, from Cole Brevard. What do you think? You agree with that, Jerry?
I think
over the ball guys for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
No snaps is maybe a bad deal because they've had a couple of overtime games, but
yeah.
I think that it's possible that we see a lot more big guys along with Watson. He's considered a big guy as well. To stop that Georgia run, it's going to have to be something like that. Another guy that's been banged up that we haven't really talked much about, but he missed some time against Georgia's Manny Muhammad.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's been dinged up all season long. Even Steve Sarkisian, when we played his audio earlier this morning, talked about Grayson Littleton needing to get his legs back late in the season after playing so many games as a true freshman. It's like that across the board. I mean, I also think that the extra week off will help Cole Hudson, for example. It'll help DJ Campbell. Both of those guys were not 100% against Vanderbilt. Now, they may have played 100%. And hey, this is something we do need to bring up that we didn't bring up, Jerry, and we need to give credit when credit is due. Sark mentioned yesterday that DJ Campbell is playing his best ball he's played at Texas.
Yeah.
And so hats off to the young man, senior. You want to see that guy continuing to get better. So, but long story short, getting healthy is a big deal. Hopefully CJ Baxter's a little bit healthier. Hopefully Trey Weisner is now fully healthy, those sorts of things.
I do think it'll be interesting to look back in 2 or 3 years, 4 years. Now that you have the double buys and seasons, how much the late season buy helps some of these teams. But it's not a 1 year, 1 season look back. It has to be over multiple years of actual data.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have a bye or be playing Samford? Like not Stanford, but Samford.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you rather do late in the season, Jerry?
Second to last week, I don't think you're going to have a bye. But to your point, Ole Miss played Citadel last week. I'd rather play Citadel earlier and have a bye the first week of November.
Yeah.
Because even though it's Citadel and you can sit some guys out, there's always the weird chance that somebody gets an injury against the team that should they even have been playing against really late in the season. That's the scary thing when you go into those games. Can you imagine if Tristan Chambliss somebody had fallen on his knee in that game? Well, I'd rather be on a bye late in the season than playing teams that you shouldn't really be playing against, but you have to play guys a certain amount of snaps because of it's a game.
But it's also about a team letting their guard down.
Yeah.
Things they can get away with against Citadel, they ain't getting away with against Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the bye is good where it's at for Texas. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Hey, one question we've had asked quite a bit this morning, like this one here from Mark E. Says, Bobby, where will OTF be in Athens this weekend?
Absolutely. So we're just going to be there on site in Athens this weekend. We don't have anything special planned, but we do have something special planned on Friday night in conjunction with the Texas Exes. So Blake put up a QR code here on the chat or on the YouTube channel. There's also a URL you can use. Blake, I don't know what you did there, but tinyurl.com/OTF Atlanta. This is in conjunction with the Atlanta Texas Exes. We've done this for 2 times now in Atlanta. We did it for the SEC Championship and then for the Peach Bowl. There's a place in Buckhead called Botica's, Botica. Please try to RSVP so they can tell how many people are coming. So just, again, go to that URL and say how many people you want to come. It's not that they're going to keep anybody out. They just want to give a proper head count to the folks there at Botica. So anyways, please do that. And please, you're welcome to join us. I'll be broadcasting live from there at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central on Friday afternoon, and then I'm staying for the happy hour. Hopefully, we have last time for the Peach Bowl, Jerry. I think we had 250 plus people there, packed complete with Longhorn fans. So it was Longhorn friendly. It felt really good to be around everybody. But give us a shout and come on out and hang out for a little bit. Jerry should be, all right, excuse me. CJ will be there. Marcus Myers saying Marcus has now made the decision. He's going. So that'll be good. He was there last year too. Fun place.
Hey, Corey B.
Oh, sorry, Jerry.
Let's think back to that question about the late game. How did that injury change Florida State football and Mike Norvell?
Jordan Travis. Who were they paying? Like Jacksonville State or somebody?
In a game that you ordinarily would not want to play late in the season. How did that change Mike Norvell at FSU that year, the college football playoff that year?
Since that injury, they've won one ACC game.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
UConn has more ACC wins than Florida State.
Jim Moore is going to get a job, by the way, somewhere.
Yeah.
Jim Moore Jr. is going to get a job.
Maybe UCLA, right? Maybe UCLA. There's some rumors on that. It's rumors.
But again, he's going back to UCLA maybe.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got time for one more question, so let's take this one from Evil. It says, y'all's Heisman front runners. Hook 'em.
Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin. I don't put Marcel Reed on that list. I don't see that one. I think those are probably your two right now. Whether people should think they should win it or not, I'm just looking at realistically. I mean, where this Ty Simpson, if the season ends 21 touchdowns, 1 interception, if Alabama goes on and wins the rest of their SEC games, he may be the third guy in there. I know Diego Pavia is getting some run. He did put up better stats against Texas and Auburn. If he goes out and puts up big numbers and they win at Tennessee and get in the playoffs, he may backdoor that thing. I will say that about Pavia. If they go win at Tennessee and get in the playoffs at 10-2, he may backdoor that thing.
You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is with this vote?
What?
All those Southern quarterbacks are going to split the votes.
Yeah.
Simpson, Reed, Stockton, and Pavia. They're going to split votes, and then the two Midwest quarterbacks they'll split votes, but only amongst two of them. It'll be Mendoza or Sayin as your
I agree.
2025 Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Simply because of that, because you'll have some Texas writers say, oh, Marcel Reed should be the second or third pick instead of Pavia or Stockton or Simpson.
Yeah.
That's how that'll roll out. And I would add this, the play by Mendoza right now is the play of college football for the season, in my opinion. Now, it's not the most wow play, but I mean, just the circumstance with which it was made. I would think that he's gonna be that, even if he's not. By the way, and somebody said Simpson may be the best player or whatever. Even if how many times has the Heisman gone to somebody who is not the best player? Like almost 90% of the time. Yeah, 80% of the time. We'll see.
I mean, look, the guy, but they smartly not trying to win him the Heisman. Jeremiah Love, this was the year for a running back to win that thing. But, he has huge games when they need him to, but otherwise they're smart about it. They're not trying to pound him 30 times a game and put up 200 rushing yards a game. He arguably could be the best college football player. Him and Jeremiah. I know people say Jeremiah Smith, but Jeremiah Love's really good. But running backs, the way it goes down nowadays, these guys aren't going to have 300 carries at that level. I mean, we're not talking about Boise State here, which I thought he should have won it last year. But running back, it's going to be hard for a running back anymore because they're not carrying it 30 times for 210 and catching 5 passes for 50 every week.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football presented by Texas Road. We want to thank Texas Road along with Tecovas, Ridge, Culligan, Prize Picks, Kirby Lane, and Hollow Socks, all for sponsoring today's show. Bobby, what's for folks later today?
Jerry's going to be talking recruiting without the hat. He did not go to Fort Bend Travis with that hat on. I guarantee it.
Maybe.
Recruiting, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes right now. You guys know that. Hey, we're at Howard Senior. There we go. Your son may be mentioned on that recruiting breakdown that Jerry will be on. Then we also have some news and notes coming. We have the live stream as well tonight. So be aware. Got several different pieces of content coming out today, and should be an interesting one, as Blake now looks like he's trying to retire it. Hey, before I let folks go, 50 days since muted, before I let folks go, I do want to say something about Veterans Day. When I was growing up, this is, some time ago, 50 plus years ago, my grandmother called it Armistice Day. And she always had this long speech about it. It was the reason it's on November 11th. It was the end of World War I. It's where they signed the pact to end World War I on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So that's why it's November 11 each and every day. So thank you to all that have served and that continue to serve and protect us and our country. I appreciate it very, very much, including my brother-in-law, by the way. Shout out to John Pearson.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, we will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Hope you all have an outstanding day today. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you then.